Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Picote webinar today, live from the training centre in Sandhurst in the UK. So we're going to talk to you today about the Maxi Power Plus. This is the largest machine that Picote manufactures, and we've got our senior technical trainers on hand to take you through the machine, the tooling, and also talk about some case studies where this has been applied and the types of work it's been used for really successfully. So we've got Dan Holmes and Andrew Kibble-White who are going to be taking you through everything today. And behind the scenes, we've got Stephen Richardson, who's our junior technician there, and also doing all the live links for us. And we've got Richard Swan, our Director of Technical Client Services, who has some input about everything as well. So thank you for joining us. We're going to take questions at the end of the webinar. So if you do have anything that you would like to ask, you can save it to the end or pop it in the Q&A and we'll discuss it once the guys have gone through everything. So I'm now going to hand you over to Dan, who's going to talk to you about our Maxi Power Plus. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay? Give us a thumbs up. Yeah, cool. Okay, brilliant. So this is the Maxi Power Plus. Just to point out, we've got it on a platform. I'm not really small, tiny. So we've got it raised up a little bit. It's the biggest machine that we build in our range. It has an 18mm shaft, and it comes with 18 meters of working cable on the machine. It's basically designed to do the big jobs. So we would be looking to do from DN100 to DN300, which is 4-inch to 12-inch, descaling and cleaning with this. We would do DN150 to DN300, which is 6-inch to 12-inch. We would do lining reinstatements. So if we've lined over lateral connections in a main sewer, this is the machine that we would reopen those with. We would do liner removal with this machine from DN100 to DN225, which is 4-inch to 9-inch, and then concrete removal, which is what this machine is very, very good at. We're going to do that from DN150 up to DN225, which is 6-inch up to 9-inch. As I say, it's got 18 meters of cable actually on the drum, but we can extend it. We can extend it up to 22 meters or 79 foot, and we would use 2 extensions to do that. Okay, so yeah, this machine.
Right. Just something point. You said DN100. We've got to think about the bends, haven't we, when we do a DN100?
Yeah. So when we do liner removal with this machine and it's in the DN100, that would have to be in a straight pipe. This cable's so thick, and with the cable and the casing, it's such a chunky piece of kit. It's not going to go around a 90-degree bend in a DN100 or 4-inch pipe. You might get lucky, but we don't recommend that you do that. So it needs to be a straight run. Yeah, so it's really for the bigger pipe. So once you get up to DN 150 or even probably DN 125 in some parts of the world, you're probably going to be in a much better position right the way up to DN 300 or 12-inch. So this machine requires 415 volt 3-phase power, either from a generator or from mains. In the US, for example, it's going to need 3-phase 30-amp supply. In other parts of the world, it's going to need something slightly different. But wherever you are in the world, check with your supplier. They'll be able to help you with that. Okay, so it's a high-speed milling machine. The slowest that the machine will turn is at 500 RPM, and it will go up to 1500 RPM. Its sweet spot's around about 1000 RPM for most of the tools that we use. It's also quite a heavy machine to maneuver around. It weighs 113 kilos, which is 249 pounds. That's just this piece. On this particular machine, we have a separate control box Normally on our millers, there's a frame plate that comes all the way across here, and the control box is mounted on there. On this machine, it just happens to be a separate control box. We like these machines with a separate control box when they're this big, because it means that we can have the control box next to where we're working, and the machine can be a little bit further away because you need to be pulling a bit of cable off. One of the things about this cable being so big is it can get a little bit warm if it's all coiled right up. So we like to pull a bit off and loop it around where we're working and then go down into the drain. So having a separate control box makes it a lot easier for us. So that's really the machine. Very, very similar to our other millers, just much bigger. Obviously drawing a lot more power, and it's a lot more powerful. And yeah, that's probably about it, really. I can spin it round, show you how similar it is to the other machines that we have in the range. Obviously, this one has a very large motor at the bottom, which we can try and show you, which is there. So, just like all of our other machines, big motor, angle gear, through a handguard, and then connect straight onto the shaft. So again, like all of our other machines, very easy to fix in the field. Should anything happen, you can trim the ends of the cable off, no problem, and carry on working. So one of the reasons the machines are so popular is you can fix most of them, or most things, as they occur in the field. Thank you. Right, so spin that back around. Lovely. There we are. So let's talk through some tools, shall we?
Yeah, well, that's a 12 mil. So this is what the Maxi would have. So this is then we can compare to what we're going to get into with this range.
Okay, so that's the 12 mil tool, that's a DM100 12 mil tool, and that's a 225. I'm just going to flip it around because it's very heavy and obviously much larger. There's the Power Plus equivalent. Yeah, ideal for taking out liners. We can also use this to that particular head can also be used to reinstate lateral connections where you've lined over them.
Substantially heavier, aren't they?
Much heavier. So some chains, the tornado chains. These are clearly much bigger than your average chains. We've used these to great effect to remove liner. We've used it to remove concrete. A very good tool, comes in all the sizes. Very effective. Very effective tools. Thank you. The tornado cyclones, again, very effective because each one of these is a welded square. You can see that. So yeah, very aggressive tool, very good for removing liner, dirt and build up. Yes, Tornado is only available for the Power Plus. We don't have it on any other the Miller range, but we also do for the Power Plus. We do the standard or standard. These are actually premium. So like the normal chains that you would have with your normal Miller, we still do those chains. Premiums like this Cyclone, but we also do the Tornadoes, which is I would highly recommend. Very good tool. We have concrete crushers. Again, a highly aggressive tool, very good for removal of liners and concrete. 4 adjustable teeth on the front here, so which can also be swapped out should they become blunt. You can just swap those out and carry on milling away. What else we got? Oh, thank you. Okay, so I've got sweepers, 2 types of sweeper. So I've got a sweeper which has just got a blank front and a sweeper with a cutter on the head on the front. So you could even use this in cast iron, for example. You could use this to reinstate, reopen a lateral, or you can just use them to clean. This is the only tool we've got where it started out as a tool for the Power Plus and then was shrunk down for the rest of the Miller range. Very, very good tools for the removal of liners, scale, rust, all sorts of corrosion, whatever you've got in the pipe. Oh yeah, as I'm talking about cast iron pipe, here's a spider. This spider is specifically designed for the Power Plus. So the idea is that these legs are spring loaded. You can put various types of plate, cutting head, whatever you need on the front, and this will always stay central in the middle of the pipe because these legs are spring loaded. Ideal for the removal of corrosion, and depending on what you have on the front of it, going through roots, battles and grease, absolutely ideal for it. Okay, so used to great effect around the world.
That one or that one?
Right, so let's talk about concrete removal. So, concrete removal. There's a concrete cutter for the Power Plus, and that's a DM100 concrete crusher, which can go on the front of your cable should you just want that on it to plough through. But then you do this type as well, which you may have seen with the other millers that we have. Obviously used to great effect everywhere. Very popular. The other thing that done, which we found very effective, is that's a DN100 concrete crusher. The DN70 crusher, or 3-inch crusher, has actually got a pointed head, looks more like a drill end, which we put on a shaft in front of these chains. And we found that to be very effective at getting out concrete and roots. Absolutely superb.
We can add the two together.
Yes.
Yeah. Just deals with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can deal with that. And then obviously we're up to the smart cutter again. Very, very effective with this machine because it's got so much torque on it. Yeah. So just some of the tools that we have. We've used these tools, as I've said, the great effect on a number of jobs. For example, we use the concrete crusher, the 3-inch concrete crusher, and these the tornado chains to remove foamcrete, which is a very weak concrete mixture. It's generally used for filling holes, and it had been it got into a drain. There was 30 meters of it in a drain, which is what 98 feet in a 9-inch drain. Or DN225, and absolutely perfect out because there's a lot of concrete in there, but there's a lot of aggregate in there. So to break up the aggregate, it was absolutely spot on. We did try with these. We tried with one of these, I think, and the aggregate was so thick that it actually stopped this from working because the stones would and the sand would bung this type of tool up. So we went for the chains. It was far more great. Yeah, it can often be like that. We've also used these tornado chains to cut through liner on a couple of occasions where the liner is as vacuumed down. So you've got a perfect liner along the pipe and then it's vacuumed, so it's come down. You need something to get into that pinch to open up the liner so you can see how far it's gone flat. And again, these chains were absolutely perfect for it. Absolutely superb. Far more effective than a lot of the other tools that we had. So taking a mix of tools to site is obviously what you ideal.
Right. Not just one tool, you need a combination of tools, weapons to be going with. So as Dan said, we've done site jobs, which is why some of these are dirty tools, because they've actually been with us out in the field
on more than a few occasions. Yeah.
We've done a number of different jobs. We did one then in the southwest on a famous cheese making factory. Some liners that had failed from water ingress had caused them to come in. Discovered a few years later, they would have to shut the plant, move the plants, or build a new building and redo the whole thing. or could we cut out? So we went down with the Power Plus. And again, that pipe was too big to the spec for cutting liner. So we did the cuts we could with a slightly smaller tool, and then went in with the smart sander
Just to
remove
polish,
the rest.
get the rest off. Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
We're able to do that. We've from the sunny southwest, we've been out to sunny Dubai, a hotel out on the Palms. Final section of drain was blocked with concrete from the original pour. They finished the build but couldn't open because there was no drainage. Months behind the project deadline. So we went out there, cut concrete out from that line, got the flow reinstalled, trained some clients out there, left them with a machine. Because I'm sure it won't be the only time there was concrete in a basement drain.
Probably not. No.
So that was done to great effect and to much relief for the project managers and the owners of the hotel. Got a great job that. We've been down into London.
Yeah, well, we use this tool, which
Another UK contractor.
is why I think this one grubby.
Concrete and floor screed in, I can't remember how many meters it was now, sort of
30, 20,
27,
it was 27 meters. So it's 8 feet of screed and concrete mix, wasn't it? And we used this, and we used the chains.
That's it. And that was a bit of a trial, wasn't it? The contractor came with some of the bosses. That turned into some sales, didn't it? They bought some machines and some vehicles all loaded up.
They've now got at least two crews that have got just our equipment on board, going out cutting concrete all around London. In London, we have used the Power Plus with the smart panels to remove a patch liner in the underground. That was just obviously a point repair, but it had slipped off the back of the packer and pinched. So the smart cutter was ideal for that.
And lots of grunt, because that takes a lot of power to spin those big panels around.
Yeah, so. Yeah. And like I said, the other one was when we had the failed liner that had vacuumed down, and we used the chains to open that up. But that was a considerable distance away. That was
we're talking epoxy liners, polyester liners, UV liners.
Yeah, yeah.
We could, we'll cut through anything.
Yeah, there's a short piece of footage which I think's going up on YouTube where we're just out here grinding some liner with the Cyclone. So that is a UV liner. It's a UV liner inside a slightly larger than 300mm pipe. So slightly larger than 12-inch because it's actually a gas pipe. But the whole idea was that we grind out UV liner, and yes, the answer is yes, we can. So, yeah.
Actually, sometimes the harder the material, like a UV liner, is easier to cut.
Yes. Yeah.
Crazy
Absolutely.
We've discovered that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been out with the tools. We messed with the machine in the field many a time now.
Yeah.
Various ways of doing it. Site power supplies, generators, whatever we need to do the job. The tools to keep it running. But again, we're working it hard sometimes, and we're trying to do things that nobody else can do with this stuff. So that's been effective. Like I said, generally, so much relief from the project manager on site when we say we're through it and we're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then different contractors across the world have got these machines as well. We get updates from them, the things that they've managed to cut through or clear, or get some things substantially cheaper perhaps than a robot or ultra high pressure water jetting in some cases.
Yeah.
So we're able to get into some sites.
It does depend on how strong the concrete is when we're concrete cutting, but yeah, very effective.
It's really where we've been, what we've done. That's a machine, and this is part of the range of tools. We would have table after table if we had all the tools out, wouldn't we?
We would, yeah. It's quite a lot of tooling available. So yeah, if you're not really too sure, then just ask us. Usually got a good idea of what we've used in the past to get concrete out of concrete liners, whatever we need out of a drain. Yeah.
We've probably covered everything off.
I think so.
I don't know whether it's worth checking with Richard if there's anything we've missed.
Oh, I think he would have been down the stairs fairly quickly.
He would have been here.
Wouldn't he? Yeah.
He would have been here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if you do want to have a little bit more information or try and remember, because it's a lot of information, we have a lot of tools for each machine. Simply head over to Picote Institute at picoteinstitute.com. We've got a wealth of resources there, including quick guides. So for the Maxi Power Plus, you will find guides on which tools to use for which situation. So if you have a failed or collapsed liner, how has that happened? Which tools can you use in which situation? The same for cutting out concrete or reinstating lateral connections or for cleaning and descaling and things like that. So all of that information is available on Picote Institute and also on picotegroup.com, our website. And like the guy said, you can of course reach out to them. They're the experts in this. You can also train with Picote. Training is very important when it comes to the Maxi Power Plus. And I think that it's always worthwhile booking yourself in for some training, either with your Picote authorised training centre or directly with Picote at our training centre, either in Sandhurst in the UK, in Porvo in Finland, or of course in Phoenix, Arizona in the US as well. Or the guys don't mind traveling, and that's another option if you need it to be on site for you. Like Andy says, he's been to Dubai. They've been all over the world doing this, so that won't phase them.
Didn't think to Dubai.
And
we've hired the machine, haven't we, as well? We've hired the machine, trained people on the machine, and whether it's on site or in here, it's well worth some time before you get to site to do the job, to get some training.
100%, and it maybe takes away that slight sort of understandably, people might be concerned. This is a three-phase machine. It's 400 volt. It's a powerful machine, but it is incredibly safe to use. And so having that little bit of experience or training with it first before you go out on site is really invaluable. And that's some of the feedback that we've had from people as well. Or you can also hire the Picote team to go out on site with you and support you that way too. That's always a possibility. So there's many options when it comes to getting started with the Maxi Power Plus. And it's worth remembering that this is, in many cases, the only Picote machine that you can use for certain situations or for certain pipe sizes. So really, once you start to get over 9-inch and above, this might well be the only machine you can use apart from for cleaning. So if you want to reinstate any lateral connections, or you want to, mill out concrete, or even just for general cleaning, if you're general cleaning or descaling inside a 12-inch pipe, this is going to be your only Picote option for that type of work. So that's just something else to bear in mind.
It's not just for concrete cuts, and you're right there. You can do general cleaning with it as well, can't you?
100%. This is not like everything Picote does. This shouldn't be seen as a special. Of course, it's a very special tool, but it shouldn't be seen as very specialized in the sense that you can do your bulk of your everyday work with this as well. This is a powerhouse. This is a workhorse. Make the most of it. Make those jobs faster. Get through it quicker. Don't have it sitting on a shelf waiting for like a really special job to come up. Get going with it. Have it on your truck. Get out there. Do the work, and get going with it, because you'll find that you'll get through the work faster. It'll enable you to do more works, and it's a very, very, very useful tool to have in your arsenal.
Get it dirty and some money.
Absolutely. And I should have said earlier, beg your pardon, but we've got Steph behind the scenes here. Steph Richardson is our marketing and communications manager, and she has been busy in the background, squirreling away, adding loads of links to this meeting chat. So if you do have any questions where you can go, I know that Steph will reach out to everyone afterwards just to remind them about everything. She'll send you the link to the recording once that's ready. Again, with any links that are associated with this webinar. As well as Dan was mentioning earlier, that video that's upcoming for YouTube as well, because it's always nice to see it in action, of course, and that's one thing that we can do. have the next webinar coming up, which is going to be on the 23rd of May. Again, that's going to be at 3 o'clock British Standard Time. So the same time as this, whatever time that was for you, it's going to be the same time that this one started. And that's going to be on Picote Flexi slip lining, which is a system that is really amazing. It's totally trenchless, manhole to manhole, completely trenchless. No need for a slip lining trench or anything like that. For gravity sewers from DN 100 to 300 or 4-inch to 12-inch. That's going to be on the 23rd of May, and we will send out a link to that webinar as well once that's set up. Again, that's going to be from our training centre. It will be. That'll be from our training centre in the UK there with Dan and Andy. And we'll really look forward to that one. So details will follow. Please sign up for that. And if you can't think of a question right now, but there might be something you want to ask us, you can, of course, reach out at any time. You can, on the website, it has everyone's contact details. You can reach out directly to Dan or Andy, or Richard or Steph or Steve or myself, any of us at all, anyone at Picote, you can reach out to. All our contact details are on the website and on the Picote Institute as well. So please feel free to make the most of that. So I would like to also, before we go, just remind you that you can also talk to your Picote reseller about this. If you're not entirely sure who your nearest Picote distributor is, again, please head to our website at picotegroup.com, and there you'll find a list of all our partners in which regions they operate in. I believe Steph has also put a link to that in the chat as well. So I think that might be it for us for today. Would like to say once again, thank you very much to our team in the UK. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Andy. Really appreciate it. And thanks again. Take a bow. Come on, Steve. There you go.
lurking
the man
in
behind the
shadow,
camera.
so people know who he is.
The man behind the camera. Thank you so much, Steve. Thanks to everyone on the team, and thank you for joining us today as well. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Until then, take care. Thank you.